Let's go. What's up guys, it's Zadie. Welcome to Flytte Kartina. This video is going to be completely dedicated to a spoiler rant. Usually I just kind of like flick a ticket stub in front of your faces and say, hey, we're gonna do the non-spoiler review and then the spoiler rant. So today's going to be a little bit different. So today's video, the spoiler rant, is going to be completely dedicated to the Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi. Since it's a Star Wars movie, pretty much everyone is going to see it, so I'm not going to be doing on the stuff that like why you shouldn't watch it or why you should watch it, because everybody's going to be watching it anyways. So the first thing that I did not like about this movie was the casino planet. Don't get me wrong, I loved like all of the CGI show-offs that they did and like, hey look, we can make this creature and this creature and this creature and we can make this guy look really weird and this guy look really weird. Yeah, not really feeling it. A lot of reviewers don't like this. That whole detour that they did, it was just kind of like, what's going on, guys? I don't understand the purpose of it. It was fun to see, and I'm sure it'll make sense to me later. It's just, right now, it's just like, what's going on? Another thing that I didn't really like was the plot was so separate. The entire movie, everybody was just in different planets. There was only a couple of scenes where all the characters were all together, and even then, it was like, no one was working together as a whole team, as a whole unit, which made sense, but also at the same time the plot was really separated. I was trying to keep track of maybe 5 plots at the same time, and I never knew which one was the one that I needed to pay attention to. Another thing I didn't really like was the Rose and Finn romance. That whole scene was going to be really heroic, and Finn was going to be like the hero and save the resistance and be like everything that a hero that he wanted to be. And then Rose was just like, nope, not gonna do it, guys. Sorry. I love you. I'm gonna kiss you. Bye. I respect both characters, just didn't really work out for me, at least. Going back to the whole separated plot thing, the entire movie, I was like, the entire movie I was just so confused because 1, I didn't know which plot to follow, and then 2, I didn't really understand the basic theme. There were a lot of good messages in there and just really interesting stuff, some really funny scenes, some really cool scenes, some cool characters and creatures, but I was just so confused the entire time. I don't really know what's going on. It's like one of those filler episodes in an anime where you're just like, what is the purpose of all this, until you don't get it until the very end. Last thing that I didn't like was the Codebreaker, whatever his name was. I think it was DJ. Amazing actor. He did a really great job doing his part. I just didn't understand his point. You know how he betrayed Rose and Finn to the First Order, and you know, he got his payment and everything, and I thought he would be the one in the AT-ST, just instead of BB-8. I thought that would be him. I thought he would have that redemptive arc, but it just didn't happen. So here are just some things that I didn't like that I'm just gonna run off in a list to you. Carrie Fisher is dead. What's gonna happen there? You didn't like kill her off in the first movie. I thought you did, but then you didn't, and then I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I love Carrie Fisher and I love that we get to see her on screen for one last time, but what's gonna happen to her? The comedy is weird. C-3PO, Finn, the Phasma fight. Maud is reduced to a jetpack of exposition. Hux, Chewie waiting around forever for Rey to just, you know, get back on the ship. Rey's parents' explanation. Those are some things that I didn't really like at all and just had to run off in a list for you guys, but let's get into some more interesting stuff. There are some things that I was kind of like, what? And it was neither good or bad. It was just like, I don't understand what's going on, and just some questions that I have, like Leia's death, for instance. I understand she's a very powerful person with the Force, and it's really cool to see her doing that, but she died, and when that happened, I was like, that's how you're gonna kill Leia? Really? Really? That was a really anticlimactic death, and she's just floating out in space like that? It's like Yondu all over again. What's gonna happen to her? And then she didn't die, and I was like, okay, she can do that. Okay. She can do that. Another part that I was kind of like, what? Was when Kylo Ren was beating up his mask in the elevator scene, which we all saw, and I hope we have all established that this is a spoiler zone right now, so hence the spoiler rant name. But when he was beating up his mask, I was like, that looks a lot like the Darth Vader mask. I was kind of excited, but then at the same time I was like really puzzled, like why would they show that? It's just one of those unanswered questions that I will have in the future answered, probably, because Star Wars is not going to die. Another thing that I was kind of confused about was the feminism that was happening there. I get it, it's a thing that's happening right now, and it's not at all, I'm not saying it's bad or good or anything, I'm just saying it out as I see it. Leia is the leader of the Resistance, and she is probably, it's logical to assume that she would prefer women leaders over men leaders, and so that's why there was a bunch of women involved. There was a lot of women that I see in these past few movies than, you know, in previous movies. Also, it's Disney, which is very female empowering, and so I'm just probably gonna be wrong about this, but there was just a lot of that in there, and I'm just pointing it out. So we're gonna go on to the stuff that I really, really, really liked about this movie and lose all the negativity that I just said, okay? Just leave it alone. What I liked about this movie was the battle scene. The first part of the film starts out with this huge fight between the Resistance and the First Order, and it's cool and awesome, and there's some really cool fight scenes in space that, you know, are what Star Wars is very known for, and they do a great job doing it. I like that it was a part of a bigger battle than you thought it was. It's like a battle of survival. The last of the Resistance is holding on for dear life as the First Order comes in, is trying to wipe them all out. This is why all your major players are there. There's Poe, there's Finn, there's Leia, there's Hux, who has no other purpose other than to look like Hans from Frozen. And then Kylo Ren shows up later. Everybody gets together on this salt planet, which is great and awesome, and it's so cool. If you guys see it, you will know what I'm talking about. I cannot put this into words. Another thing I liked is seeing the different kinds of Force capabilities that Jedi and, you know, Force sensitive people can have. I liked Leia being able to basically move the Force around her, and I think she was, I don't know, like kind of pulling herself towards the ship, and it was really cool like that. And then I liked Luke being able to create a basically Force hologram of himself. It's so cool. I think that was great. You could also like remove your conscience from yourself, as Rey was doing on the island. Remove your conscience and like basically see your surroundings and like however Force strong you are. Also, you could communicate across galaxies. How cool is that? It's like, it's Force telepathy. That's what it is. We have Force jumps, we have Jedi mind tricks, we now have Jedi telepathy. One thing I did really appreciate, and some people didn't like this, but I really liked Luke's death. That sounds like a horrible thing to say, but I really liked it. It reminded me of how Obi-Wan died. I think Luke chose to die. It was basically mirroring the way that Obi-Wan died. I think it was a really good character arc for Luke to delve into the Force after he had closed it off from so long and just kind of let it wash over him, and then he chose when to die and no one else did. I think it was really cool to see that he knew that his time was up and he had done everything he could. Overall, it had a nice balance of everything. I'm talking about the film in general. It had a nice balance of nostalgia and comedy and plot and action and all of this different stuff, and it was nice. As the things that I said about the plot being separated, I think there was a balance to it. I just was not noticing the balance at first because I was so confused. Last thing I like, Snoke is dead! Again, that sounds depressing. I'm so sorry. Why am I excited about death? First of all, Snoke is a jerk. I didn't like him when he was first introduced, and I didn't like him now, but I'm glad he's very dead. Very dead. He said something about Kylo Ren being the next Darth Vader, and look how that turned out for Emperor Palpatine. It didn't work out that well, and you should have seen the connection. No, you didn't. And you died. A lot of people like Kylo Ren and how he's taking over. I need to see him more in personal growth and all that. I don't like him that much. I liked him much better in this movie than I did in The Force Awakens. Let's just leave it at that before I get all the haters in the comments down below. Okay, some cool things that I'm just gonna rant off in a list throughout the movie because I've done enough talking for now. I love the Salt Planet cinematography. I mean, there was the point where they were like, oh, they were tasting it and they were like, oh, it's salt. And I was like, what does that mean? It means nothing. It just means the Salt Planet is a salt planet. But I loved it. It was great. Like, amazing visuals. The fight scenes were absolutely amazing and stunning. I would have to take an entirely separate video just to talk about them. Thank you, Lucasfilm, for adding the Asians in, some Asian appreciation in there. Very, very, very pleased about that. Yoda was on screen again. Porgs and ice foxes. The chainsaw is back. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're happy with this. It's an entire video dedicated to a spoiler rant. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you really like what you see, then you could subscribe to me. It'd be great. I have some fun times over here. If you want to see some of my other reviews, you can click somewhere. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this smart layout. Also, if you've stayed this long, you will answer the question of the week. Which of the major fight scenes do you think is the best? Let me know in the comments down below. Have a happy random Thursday. As always, see you on the other side of the screen. Bye!